and welcome to the show. Now, the Volvo 850R is a very likeable car. At the end of the day, in fact, I think it's difficult to dislike the 850R. Partly with its racing pedigree. I know, as weird as that may sound, its days in the British touring car make it quite infamous. I think it's a combination of the speed and the unexpected speed. You don't necessarily expect the Volvos to be as quick as this thing turned out to be. It's just an all-round good car that just about everybody likes. Now, I am naturally a big fan of fast estate cars. I'd always want more fast estate cars in my games, so it's good that we have this in Horizon 5. The thing is, I noticed when I was looking around and messing about with building of some cars, I won one of these Volvos at some point and thought I'd take a look and see what I could do with it, and it turns out this has got a very, very mad option. You see, there are lots of different engine swaps and new engine swaps, more engines going in more cars, and yeah, new engines brought in. And the 850R gets one of these new engines. It gets a 3-litre straight-six turbocharged racing engine. I'm not sure what car this one is from at the moment. I'm sure somebody will tell me. But as you can notice from the power graph and as you can notice from the power figures, this is a very, very quick engine. Okay, no, it's not as powerful as the Funko engine, for example. But here's the thing. The 850R is front-wheel drive. This incredibly powerful racing engine is going to go in our front-wheel drive estate car. And the other engines, 2.6, that one there, would expect to see in the Turbo Rally, those both engines that have been in the 850R before, I'd expect to see them as options for it. Wasn't expecting this to go in the front-wheel drive machine. So, today, we are going to be making the most ludicrous front-wheel drive machine I can think of, and I'm going to try and win some races. I also have got to put on the proper kit for it. Kind of the proper kit for it. I mean, it's only already a front bumper, but it's going to have to do. Now, to try and win some races for it, that means we're going to have to try and... Well, first of all, what I'm going to do, I set myself a little challenge. I remember my own rules for my own video. I have to max the engine out. So I'm going to make this as powerful as I can. It's going to be over 1,000 horsepower going to the front wheels here. I'm not actually sure how much power this engine gets. I just know it goes over 1,000. The answer is 1,270 horsepower through the front wheels. Only front-wheel drive vehicle I can think of that's got more power than that in a Forza game is the Limo when it had that V12, but the Limo was weirdly good for traction and stuff, and I don't expect the 850R to be as weirdly good. But yes, so my challenge with this is I'm going to try and build its 2A class. I'm not sure what class I'm going to go for. Do I try and make it work in A class? Because I don't think it's going to get the PI to go all the way to the top of S1 class. Even though, I mean, we could try... So I wanted to try and win a race with this in a certain class, and I hadn't decided what to go for. Maybe, do I try off-road with 1,200 horsepower Volvo front-wheel drive? Front-wheel drive works quite well in off-road. I'm not sure it's going to work in this. We're going to try it. We're going to try and make an A-class Volvo with that much power. This is going to end disastrously. Also, it's going to end spectacular. I'm astounded this is actually... I mean, the rally tyres are good at the end of the day. There's only a couple of compounds of tyres that really beat it. So the fact that... you can tell how not built for 1,200 horsepower the chassis is when the roll cage puts the PI up by 9. That's a lot of PI it's gaining. Probably going to want that, if I'm honest. Ooh, that's a curiosity. The game reckons this car is so difficult to drive that me taking £600 out of it actually loses me PI. Now, I've seen that with some weird cars. And really curiously, it actually drops the top speed. So the reason why I say curious, the game is reckoning that the traction is going to be so bad in this car that when I drop the weight out, it's going to get worse. So this is potentially a traction limited car. Sure, okay. I mean, do I go with the game's recommendation or do I say screw it? Do I reckon I can do better throttle control than the game reckons I can? You know what? We're going to go for it. This might have been a bad decision. I don't know. I should probably have put adjustable gearbox in this car as well. We're probably going to want that. I'm going to stick... You know what? We're going to go with a 7-speed gearbox in this. I'm 100% going to want... I know how kind of built this rally spec. It doesn't really matter. There's just different settings, which they don't actually make a crazy amount of difference. So we'll go with that. And just for the sake of numbers, I'm putting a clutch in. And I'll put a... I can't put a flywheel in. We're going to be 1 PI down, aren't we? There's nothing else I can... guess unless I did custom wheels. Although I don't even know if custom wheels are going to change the PI there. Oh, there's a few. There are some that will. Actually, don't massively dislike those, so they'll work. They're a little bit lighter, and that is going to give us the PI point that we need. So this is a madness, is what this is. I mean, it sounds beefy. It's going to cost me 100 grand. It's definitely worth it for this much power in my Volvo. Let's go and see what it can do. I'm scared of the Volvo, if I'm honest with you. I wonder if we can legit do 240 miles an hour in our Volvo. It is quite possible. I mean, if it is traction limited, I might be able to kind of, I say, be careful with it a little bit and get it to those speeds. It will depend. I mean, the tyres may just completely give up. My Volvo has more power than your Porsche, unless you have a really mad engine. My Volvo has more power than your Civic as well. Okay, first thing to note, I mean, this isn't on standard tyres, so it does have some traction. I mean, the tyres are good, basically. We've got this car on. The tyres are actually good. It does want to spin the wheels up even in fourth. Do we need to extend the gear ratios? I might just do that. So I'm just using this as a little quick test. The gears are actually quite extended as it is. It reckons 234. It reckons it really is just reckoning that's the traction limit. This car. I'm happy to run longer gears. This will actually help quell the wheel spin, essentially. I would be okay if the turbos were laggy on this engine. Bloody hell! It just lights up the front tyres as it goes. Now, you see, I put the front splitter bit on. Maybe that was a bad call, actually. Jeez, this thing shifts. This thing really shifts. Maybe, like, I wanted the front bumper on for the race car look, but I might actually have to have the Forza one on because the downforce is going to be important. That's, thinking about it, being a front-wheel drive car, the downforce is actually going to be important. I've just backed this up because I was going to go take the jump in this. And this isn't the place to go do some speed running, but it is a good place to test the front end. Just wants to spin the wheels. Here we go. We're on the runway now. It is up to 200 miles an hour with relative ease. I mean, this is not the most aerodynamic shape in the world, is it? The Volvo brick, but it can shift. It's up to 230 miles an hour now, as it will soar through the air. It's a good jump from the 850, 1,500 feet. Not bad. No, not bad at all. Only a couple hundred feet below the record, and that was with Koenigsegg's. So. Yeah, that's pretty good going. Okay. I mean, we're going to leave off the splitter if I can get away with it. We'll try a race. So we're going to try and run just an A-class race and see if the Volvo is up to it. Now, I'm going to get to pick what track. I'm going to try a tarmac circuit. It's not going to work at like this circuit, for example. It'll be terrible there or there. We need... Oh, I wonder if... Where is it? We're going to stick with tarmac, so I'm just going to do that. It's one of these tracks up here, maybe? Don't know if that's going to work. We're going to give it a try, though. We're going to find out. Of course, the AI... Well, what class is the Volvo under in this? I don't know. If the AI have also got A-class cars... well, the AI will be putting A-class vehicles with me. They might have some other front-wheel drives. Right, current car. It's not recommended. Why would you not recommend? You'd recommend my monstrosity of a BMW. You'll see that soon enough in the video. You won't recommend me my monstrosity of a Volvo. I mean, it's sensible looking Volvo. You wouldn't know to look at it that it had a 1,200 horsepower racing engine under the bonnet. But okay, we're against... It is like the retro super saloons or something along those lines. We're against a lot of rear-wheel drive Beamers. Probably not too many all-wheel drives. The all-wheel drives were kind of a little bit of... Oh, there'll be RS6s, weren't there? Yeah, the older RS6s are going to be in here. Okay, well... We will launch the car, it'll spin the wheels like crazy. Can I get some traction? We will eventually. I mean, this will be faster than anything else down the straight in this field. It's how well is it going to turn? Is it going to turn? I mean, if I'm not a lunatic with a throttle, it should be okay. I'm just going to be really careful. On-power understeer is going to be chronic in this car. Which, sure enough, you can definitely feel it as you're trying to go near the throttle. It wants to understeer, so I'm driving this at, like, I don't know, probably 2/3 throttle for a lot, and then we're a lot less than 2/3 throttle around here, because we know the front end is going to wash out if we do anything silly. We're going to get past. Oh, we got a little push. That is not needed. We'll let the turbos be super laggy through all of this. Don't really want. Yeah, it's not. It's definitely drivable. If I could find a circuit with some long enough straight. I mean, it's such a rocket ship now. I've unleashed it, but then it's back to cruising into a corner and then bumping into a wall slightly. Come on, Volvo. I'm wondering how much. I definitely think I'm going to have to go Forza Aero at the front. I didn't really want to. However, for this car, I think it's going to be needed. It's a shame that we don't have the race kits. Can't add. Sometimes you do get them add aero. Sometimes they do not. I'm pretty sure this one here didn't. Well, slide up into the wall. That may well give us a chunk of PI we're going to have to work with. We're going to have to do something to try and drop the car back into A class. Oh, no, we've got to just wait so long here. This is where we lose all of the time. But the actual like mid-corner speed is okay. It's just waiting, and now we can get to full throttle. Now we can unleash the Volvo towards turn 1. It is absolutely insane. I love it. I mean, it could be a million times worse to drive. You know, this is not that far away from the old silly car builds. I mean, it is essentially that. The engine's maxed out. It's almost a maxed out car at the top of A class. There's very little different, other than, I mean, the sensible way to build this would make it all-wheel drive, of course. Or any other drive, to be fair. Rear-wheel drive would probably be better. Oh, that's way too quick into that corner. Yeah, was not going to be stopping whatsoever there. This track is too... I say it is too technical. I mean, I like this layout. I like this circuit. Abaddon has something to say. I say sorry for cat meows. It's just part of the course, really, with a FailRace video. Abaddon has got opinions on the Volvo. That is a ridiculous car. It's a ridiculous car, but it's not that far off from being competitive, to be honest with you. I mean, that's also at a circuit where, I mean, we're a little bit more geared to, say, if we go off-road, the RS6, if one of those is in the car. In fact, we got fastest lap of the race. It's close. It's weirdly competitive in all of this. I like that. I was looking for weirdly competitive when I set out to make this video. I wasn't expecting it, but weirdly competitive is good. All right, we're going to just jump up to the outpost over here. We are going to there. I'm going to try seeing if... Come on, game. Can you let me in? Thank you. Going to see how much PI the splitter is going to run on this. I feel like it's probably important. Yeah, it's 12 PI. How am I going to get that back? Not actually sure how I'm going to get that back on this. Okay, well, we can do weight reduction. We'll get some of it back. What was the other big bits of PI? Okay, the wing actually dumps a whole load of PI. It restricts top speed, but I'm actually kind of happy with that because I'm trying to do, you know, handling stuff. I mean, okay, wheels we can put back will save us a little bit. Tyres, I can't really mess around with tyre widths on this. Suspension, no, our off-road suspension actually is about as good as we're going to get it. I guess maybe we're going to have to dump the roll cage out of the car. We'll have to dump the roll cage out and put the weight back in. It's 1 PI away. Then I guess things like clutch and stuff can... Hold on. Oh, that's not the one we wanted. This is the one we wanted. We can dump the clutch out. We can dump that out of it. We can dump the... I can't dump the flywheel because we never had one. So then we can maybe get some... Oh, we're going to be left with Wobble-matic thing. It's going to just be a wibbly-wobbly Volvo. Look, it's got way too much power. It's going to be a bit Wobble-matic on the chassis. There might be something that I'm missing. I definitely don't want to take the brakes off of it. I mean, okay, do we go... Do the rear tyre width. So I've got to have maximum front tyre widths. The rear tyre widths just don't change the PI enough. Yeah, I would take a roll cage over the rear tyre width if I could, but I can't. So, that is going to have to do. Is the front... But actually kind of a curious question now is, has that front downforce, is that going to make this car... Is it better to have that additional front downforce than the roll cage and all that? I feel like it is. But there's only one way to find out. I'm going to try and pick an even faster circuit. Actually, there's a couple of quicker tracks I can think of. Whereabouts is it? I've got to learn the map again. Sorry. Bear with. It's down here. This one here. This is a quick track, but it's a little bit... It's like a few of the tracks from Horizon... What's it called? Previous one, 4. Where it's a quick circuit, but a lot of the corners are also quite high-speed corners, so I'm slightly worried that the understeer is going to be crippling. I mean, there is only one way, of course, for us to be finding out, and that is to strap in and run the Volvo around here and see what happens. It's going to be difficult. In fact, maybe I'll swap out the suspension for a race suspension. The rally tyres might be the way to go, weirdly, for the tarmac racing. They're better on tarmac than the sport tyres, and the PI about the same, so I'm kind of happy with this. The RS2's in this one. Come on, 850, find some traction, here we go. Now we'll be able to unleash all of the power through here. Yes, AIs freak out about some corners. No, don't suddenly change direction in front of me, you lunatic. I say that in a 1,200 or so. Gee, it really does feel like I'm in a completely different class of car down these straights. In the corners, once we've got the car turned in, it's not so bad. This is better now. I definitely think it is better to go with that front aero. That was 100% worth it. We're going to unleash some wheel spin on the Volvo. Here we go. Get past the hammer like it's standing still. Yes, we shall. Okay, I like this. It's completely insane, but it is not entirely undrivable levels of insane. I'm amazed I can get rally tyres on this car and this much power and keep it A-class. That I was not expecting. I was expected to be building this to S1 class. I'm going to be honest. Like, I knew I wanted to have a maxed out engine and take it from there, and I was expecting that maxed out engine to put us into S1 class regardless of what else I did. But it's not. And this is on sensible tyres now. But we're just going to completely mince this BMW. Yeah, we'll get it to the inside here. Nothing the Beamer can do. And now we will run away. Maybe when I can unleash the full fury of the Volvo. Holy crap. And please slow down. I mean, look, we're only racing against AIs. I don't know how fast this would be against sensibly built cars. Probably not, because its corner speed is going to be lacking a smidge in places. But the fact that this is as drivable as it is. Yeah, it's really bad off the line. Okay, it does struggle there. We lose big swathes of time getting going. Once it has got going, it's an absolute rocket ship down here. We will turn our way through these corners. Okay, yes, I picked a circuit specifically in the hope that this car would work at it. But even then, I wasn't necessarily expecting it to be as effective as this. So I'm liking this as a go-to silly, ridiculous machine. I've got to be a bit careful around this final corner. That's actually quite a nasty final corner. I was all over the place with my braking points there. I didn't know where I needed to start slowing down. We're going to spin the wheels up like a lunatic everywhere, pretty much. We can be flat through there. Not going to be flat through there, though. Nope. Okay. Flat through part of it, not through the second bit, though. It's just if it does start spinning the wheels, there is plenty of grip from the car. It will hold the road. But if you've just asked a little too much, you've got to be really careful with your throttle control here. You might say, well, why don't you use traction control? Traction control is not going to help you with this car. I mean, it'll make it easier for you to drive in terms of you're not dealing with the wheel spin, but it'll make the car slower because it's going to be constantly kicking in. I can deal with the car spinning the wheels a little bit and can be better, essentially, with the throttle. on the most part. Also, it annoys the crap out of me running traction control. That's just a personal thing. I would prefer to deal with it myself. I feel like I can go faster because I have more control over it. The traction control is just going to be kicking in constantly with this car because there's going to be a lot of wheel spin at times. And if I can manage to, you know, figure out what I'm doing with the throttle myself a little bit better, then fantastic. There we go. Nicely does it around the final corner. That is a fast car. I mean, a ridiculous car, but a fast one nevertheless. So yeah, I can build it to A-class with 1,200 horsepower through the front wheels, and it can work. That definitely won't work everywhere. Twistier circuits, no, but on the bigger circuits, on the more power tracks, that is not so bad. I say it's not so bad. It's usable. You know, there is probably a faster way around that track than I built it, but it's fun. So, you know, yeah, that is eminently more usable than expected. Before we finish this video, I am going to go and whack the aero off the car just because I'm curious. How fast can we get the Volvo? I wonder what the speed record... Actually, I say I wonder what the speed record for a Volvo is. There'll be some drag cars. That got me a decent chunk of money. I'm surprised that's nearly 41,000 for a 3-lap race. Cool. There'll probably be some sort of drag racing Volvo somewhere with 2,000 or 3,000 horsepower. It'll be the fastest Volvo, but so we are going to dump off the aero at the front, dump off the aero at the back, and then we will be good to go. I mean, we can get past 250 again, we'll be doing pretty well. Much like with the... Well, when I had the DeLorean. The DeLorean had more power than this. I would say maybe slightly better aerodynamics than the Volvo. I mean, the Volvo's a little bit more modern, yes, but it's also a box. The DeLorean is kind of the right shape, but also a bit boxy as well. I'm not sure if much work was done with an in a wind tunnel with the DeLorean. Let's be honest. Right, shall we run down this motorway and we will see what we can make happen. Yeah, if I can get past 250, I'll be quite happy. Let's see what the benchmark reckons for the car. It reckons 266 miles an hour. That sounds good to me if we can manage to pull it off. It's now I've taken off the aero. It is, will the front end start losing grip? This is something that does happen with very high-powered cars, especially. It's something that happens with high-powered weird vehicles. So if you've got like a Morris Minor running way too much power, they just run out of downforce and they just start spinning the wheels when it gets up to top speed. I don't know whether that's going to be something that we see with this car, whether we are going to see it start being traction limited, or maybe gear limited. I can adjust the gear ratios on the fly. We're past the 250 mile an hour mark, no problem. It's wandering about a little bit. You know what? That feels like it's got a bit more to give. I feel like we can extend this. I'd love to be able to do 300 miles an hour in my Volvo. It reckons 270. Jeez, that is a lot of speed. Okay, here we go, Volvo. Let's see if you actually legitimately can crack 270. Oh, there's corners coming up now. We're at 268 miles an hour. Oh, okay, it just doesn't turn. Especially when there's crests, the front end. Oh, it's fine. Only a little panic occurred. We're now in oncoming traffic at 250 miles an hour. I mean, we know Volvos are strong, but I feel like a 250 mile an hour impact is a bad idea. As we're sort of being split between lobbies, I'm not sure we've got any AI traffic though. That makes life okay. The Forza servers are not great at the moment, so that's why we've not got traffic spawning in properly. Here we go, it's going to be a downhill section. 270 miles an hour in my Volvo. We've done it. This is the bit. 271, 272. Any more? No, 272 miles an hour in a Volvo 850R. And there we go. There'll be no more. We've got corners coming up that we won't be able to take flat out, and the road has leveled off. 272 miles an hour in an 850R, and more importantly, it's still front-wheel drive. Yeah, that has actually got a bit more control than I was expecting from it, considering the level of power. Yeah, with a bit of long gear ratios, that's quite impressive. I still feel though the most impressive thing about all of that is this has been done with an A-class car. This is not halfway through S2 class. This is an A-class 850R that's running nearly 1,300 horsepower, capable of 270 miles an hour, and is not completely undrivable. So there we go. Yeah, the Volvo gets a wacky engine. I really do quite like it. That is going to be it for this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.